Imagine if the United States could break free from foreign dependence on a resource more critical than oil ever was: lithium, the backbone of our electric future. But as ExxonMobil drills deep into Arkansas soil to unlock vast reserves, Saudi Arabia is pouring billions into renewables, mirroring a historic shift that once gave them oil supremacy. Today, we're diving into how these two giants are reshaping global energy control and what it means for America's security and economy. Let's start with the basics. ExxonMobil, a name synonymous with oil, is making a bold pivot into lithium extraction right here in the U.S. Their project in southern Arkansas taps into the Smackover Formation, a geological treasure trove they've secured rights to over 120,000 acres since early 2023. With an initial investment of about $100 million, they're aiming for first production by 2027 using direct lithium extraction, or DLE, technology. This method pulls lithium-rich brines from 10,000 feet underground, processes them, and re-injects the depleted water back into the earth, smarter and cleaner than traditional mining. Why Arkansas? The U.S. Geological Survey estimates this formation holds between 5 and 19 million metric tons of lithium, which could represent up to 136% of current U.S. resources. At the lower end, that's enough to meet global EV battery demand 9 times over by 2030. The brines there pack over 400 milligrams per liter of lithium, making it competitive worldwide. ExxonMobil's goal? Produce 75,000 to 100,000 tons of lithium carbonate equivalent annually by 2030, enough for about 1 million EV batteries each year. They've already inked deals with battery giants like SK On and LG Chem for up to 100,000 metric tons each, feeding plants in Tennessee and beyond. This isn't just mining, it's building a domestic supply chain that could shield the U.S. from the 95% import reliance we face today, much of it from places like China and Australia. On the environmental side, DLE cuts carbon intensity by about 2/3 compared to hard rock methods. Arkansas regulators have greenlit a 2.5% royalty rate, balancing industry growth with state revenue. But this is part of a bigger U.S. push. Compare it to Nevada's operations. Albemarle's Silver Peak mine, running since 1965, outputs 3,500 to 4,000 tons now, expanding to 7,500 by 2025. Then there's Lithium America's Thacker Pass, set to hit 40,000 tons in its first phase by 2027, doubling later. Out in California's Salton Sea, estimates suggest 18 million tons of lithium, potentially powering 375 million EVs, with projects like Energy Source Minerals aiming for 19,000 tons of lithium hydroxide yearly. Now shift gears to Saudi Arabia, whose oil story offers a fascinating parallel. Back in the 1970s and 80s, their market share ballooned from under 7% to 16%, with OPEC controlling over 70% of production. The 1973 embargo weaponized oil, sending revenues soaring 40-fold from $655 million in 1965 to $26.7 billion by 1975. Saudi Aramco became the swing producer, holding over 2 million barrels per day in spare capacity, more than half the world's total. They pumped out 78 billion barrels from 1990 to 2011, outpacing Russia and the U.S., all at the lowest costs globally. But Saudi Arabia isn't resting on oil laurels. Vision 2030 commits $270 billion to renewables, targeting 50% of electricity from clean sources by decade's end. Take solar. 4 new projects total 3,700 megawatts, and the Sudair plant already runs at 1,125 megawatts for just 1.239 cents per kilowatt hour. Green hydrogen is huge, too. The NEOM project, an $8.5 billion beast, will produce 600 tons daily by 2026, backed by 2.2 gigawatts of solar, wind, and storage. And they're dipping into lithium. A January 2025 Aramco Ma'aden joint venture eyes extraction from local brines up to 400 parts per million, aiming for commercial output by 2027 to support 500,000 EV batteries and 110 gigawatts of renewables by 2030. So, how do these strategies stack up?
ExxonMobil's Arkansas play is about securing domestic critical minerals, echoing how Saudi Arabia built oil dominance over decades. But lithium's timeline is compressed, full production in 7 to 10 years versus oil's gradual rise. Geopolitically, U.S. lithium independence counters vulnerabilities, much like Saudi oil created Western dependence in the 70s. Economically, Saudi's $270 billion dwarfs Exxon's $100 million start. But scaling Arkansas could hit $5 to $10 billion, creating jobs in oil patch regions and generating royalties. Globally, lithium demand explodes, 3.5 times growth by 2030, 6.5 by 2034. Battery needs jump from 700 gigawatt hours in 2022 to 4.7 terawatt hours by 2030, with EVs taking 91.5%. ExxonMobil's vertical integration direct to battery makers mirrors Aramco's oil-to-chemicals model. Yet, energy density reminds us of realities. Gasoline packs 12,888 watt-hours per kilogram versus lithium batteries 220, though EV efficiency, 99%, versus gas engines, 30%, closes the gap.
Investment-wise, Standard Lithium pegs their Arkansas capex at $1.3 billion, hinting at massive economic ripple effects. Saudi renewables promise job booms under Vision 2030. Both pivots recognize future energy isn't just about resources, but supply chains. In the end, these mirror strategies, U.S. chasing mineral independence, Saudi leveraging oil wealth for renewables, could redefine power. Arkansas might give America Saudi-like sway in lithium, while Riyadh leads in clean energy. Success hinges on execution, tech, and markets in this fast-paced transition. What do you think? Will the U.S. seize this lithium moment, or will global dynamics shift the balance again? Share your take in the comments and hit subscribe for more deep dives into energy's future.